Alright, hey, how's it going? My name is Jamie, and thanks again for stopping by. I certainly do appreciate it. It's a Friday, I got the weekend coming up. Hope things are really good with you. And we do have another unboxing or unwrapping on this one, and this was a vinyl box set that I didn't even know had been released. In fact, it's not new. It came out in 2012 on the Sundays label, and it's certainly by a group I've always admired and enjoyed, and certainly what struck me for this set was that the albums are in mono. Most of the albums are mono releases, and if you've seen some of my YouTube videos, I am a sucker for mono releases, particularly, of course, from the 1960s. So without further ado, we're talking about the Velvet Underground and the Verve MGM albums. So yeah, this came out on Sundays. As you can see, I've taken some of the shrink off, and I have opened some of the albums, not to waste your time or anything like that with me fumbling around and trying to open them up. But we will certainly take a look inside. And so you have the first album along with Nico, her solo album Chelsea Girl, and you've also got White Light, White Heat, and then you've got their album simply titled The Velvet Underground, and then you have something called The Lost Album. And this is called 1969, The Lost Fourth Album, originally unissued in stereo. All the other releases are in mono for this set. And yeah, so excited about this. So I'll read the hype sticker by David Frick. This really does set the tone quite nicely for this box set. So saying, "This is a box of essential rock and roll history. The first 3 studio albums by the Velvet Underground, a definitive edition of the recordings for the band's 4th unfinished LP for MGM, and the sublime first solo album by Nico, released after the charismatic singer's brief spell in the group. This is also a box of magic, the sight and sound of revolution as it arrived, at bold and perilous speed. No group embodied challenge and transgression in the mid and late 60s like the Velvet Underground. Few bands of any time have altered rock's future so decisively at such a high price. Born in New York into a true underground of art, film, and social deviance, the Velvets were ignored, misunderstood, even savaged in their time. None of the 4 official releases in the set made it into the Billboard's Top 100. Which is amazing. Such influential albums, but didn't make it into the top 100. But as Lou Reed pointed out years later, rock does this thing to you. You get directly to somebody unfiltered. The most important thing, he insisted, was the records going out, going to the people. This is how it happened on long-playing vinyl with striking, unprecedented cover art between 1967 and 1969. So just a few short years. Okay, without further ado, let's take a look inside. So it just pops out like that. And some unusual packaging. This looks like it should unbuckle, but it doesn't. It's just a picture there with the sort of, and that's to make it look like an old worn vinyl case here, even on the side there like that. But there you go. It just simply pops open like that. And we'll put that down there, and there's nothing on the inside. Just pops open like that. And interesting how they've packaged or designed some of this. Of course, if you're familiar with the first album with the Andy Warhol designed cover, with the banana peel sticker, they've decided to issue the sticker separately. So this is not actually on the physical album, but on this separate paper here. So it is a sticker, and it will peel off, but little different there. And inside we do have a couple of posters, which is very cool. And we've got a nice advertisement for the album. Of course, with Andy Warhol there. And that, of course, be if you're peeling the banana there, if you wish to do that. And then we do have another nice size poster inside. And talking about, "Come, step softly into the inevitable world of the Velvet Underground." And of course their performances in New York with Andy Warhol's factory there, if you will, performance, visual art, music. And so we have the first album, Velvet Underground and Nico, produced by Andy Warhol, and this usually would have the, as we mentioned, the banana sticker on top, but they decided to package it separately, so something a little different. This was Gatefold, so there you have the back there, and this is the original look for the back. Often they would put some sort of sticker or whatnot over this, or take this out completely, because the person whose image is projected here, this person, not Lou Reed, but this person here who's upside down, had objected to the use of the image and was threatening to sue the band or take legal action, so they just simply decided to stick her over it. But nice to see that they've gone back to the original image, and this was Gatefold as well. Fascinating, an album that was recorded in 1966, given the its songs and subject matter. Didn't come out till 67 though. And certainly the only album that fully features Nico, the singer there. And then on reproducing the classic Verve label. As I said, mono issue, but very exciting. Okay, so there you have the first album, and moving right along to the second album. So you've got that, you know, amazing image, and then for the second album they just decided to just go with a plain, pretty much plain jacket, that sort of thing, and kept the shrink on. None of the other ones are gatefold, so here's the back, and then inside, and then we're producing the Verve label. Okay. And then their next album that was simply titled The Velvet Underground. And this, again, is the original look to the cover. Often they would either white out or put this as blank, this magazine that he was holding, for whatever reason, but they've nicely gone back to the original cover. Not the most exciting cover, but there you go. And it's interesting, they do have the Verve thing, but then they also do put Sundazed just in very small there. So there's that. Okay, and excited about this. I definitely have not heard any of this. This is the reported lost fourth album. Now, they did release an album called Loaded, but that was on a different label through Atlantic. But they've got this as a lost album. 1969. So this is, in fact, in stereo. And certainly John Cale had left the band, so you're looking at Lou Reed, Sterling Morrison, Doug Yule, and Maureen Tucker. So yeah, excited about that. I guess they decided not to go with any sort of inner sleeve on that, and then just continue with the Verve label. And what I thought was a really nice idea, and a nice addition, is to include Nico's solo album, because I recall the Velvet Underground is certainly involved in this album. I think they do play on here, at least some of the members, if I'm not mistaken. Produced by Tom Wilson. And so Nico's vocals, she's quite an unusual vocalist if you haven't heard her songs, or certainly her work with the Velvet Underground. I like her. I just think she's had just such an interesting style. Very unusual. Okay, and once again, producing that inside. Okay, so there you have the Velvet Underground box set. Looking forward to listening to this, and again, most of these albums, with the exception of the Lost album, in mono. So certainly pretty excited about that. And I do have a fair bit of Velvet Underground in my collection, not necessarily on vinyl, but I do have, with the time remaining, I can show you what certainly at one time was one of the definitive box sets, certainly for the Velvet Underground. And this featured all of their albums, like their main albums, did include the Lost albums. It also included Loaded, even though this was released through Polydor, or Polygram. As you can see, the listings there. And this even has the banana sticker that you could peel off if you want. Then inside, and had a really nice booklet inside, and all in separate jewel cases like that. And certainly there have been some terrific box sets released of the Velvet Underground for their individual albums as well. Some very extensive box sets. Maybe we'll take a look at those in another edition. Maybe do like a part 2 sort of thing. Yeah, this gives you lots of text, and so, yeah, pretty nice overall. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you so much for dropping by, but as I said, I'm certainly going to be getting into this one the Velvet Underground, the Verve and MGM albums, featuring Lou Reed, a very, very unique individual for sure. So again, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll certainly talk again soon. And if you can, hit subscribe. I do appreciate all the comments. I try to get back to everybody as soon as I can, and really been enjoying the conversation as well. So have yourself a great weekend, and we will talk again really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.